Uber has been issued a request to leave an area, to cease operations. And shock, 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 they are declining to do so. It's almost as if they have learned nothing from the last 4 years. Or maybe they have learned everything since other requests and commands to not operate in cities and towns basically went unchallenged to the point where now they can roam freely and they could do it without government regulation. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here and happen to really like this video, please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification. We upload on a near daily basis. You know, we're talking about videos, interviews, live streams, premieres, and you will want to be notified when all of that hits. So anyway, we are talking about a city called Surrey, which I had never heard about until today, but now that this has popped up, it's like, yeah, this sounds like something I'd like to talk about. The city of Surrey issued a notice to Uber Friday to stop operating by 9 p.m. or face fines. Councillor Jack Hundile said council did not receive a copy of the notice, but he confirmed the news with city staff. The reason is that Uber, which just began operating Friday morning in the lower mainland after years of delay, does not have the proper business license to operate in Surrey, Hundile said. You may recall this is a current issue with them in London. However, London has actually told them to get out. They have actually gone to court. The court has ruled that Uber should leave, and yet Uber is still there. Heck, they are even making deals with local businesses while they continue to fight that legislation and they fight that ruling. Uber does not like being told to get out. It kind of makes me wonder, why doesn't Uber just get business licenses? Is it really so much cheaper and more efficient to fight these bureaucrats in court rather than just fill out the paperwork properly and get to doing what you want to do? It seems like it would be easier to just follow the law. And according to their CEO, Dara Khosrowshahi, they just do the right thing, period. And yet, I don't see a whole lot of evidence that they just do the right thing. In fact, they seem to be acting very much the way that they were when Travis Kalanick was at the wheel. Disregarding rules, cutting people off, and basically being a total jackass because it makes you feel good, even at the expense of others. So, here's the thing. The reasoning is... Okay, anyway. I don't see how the city would be able to enforce it. Hundile said there are a few hundred businesses operating in the city without licenses due to expiration and other factors. He said the city is capable of issuing licenses to businesses quickly or providing a grace period. Of course, if Uber didn't even ask, that's a whole other topic altogether, I believe. Now, it does weaken Surrey's case, just a little, I will admit. If they are letting businesses run and operate without licenses, and yeah, if I were Uber, I probably would feel like, yeah, why should I get a business license? They're not getting a business license, and they're running just fine. So, whatever. Anyway, Hundile said he was not sure whether Uber compiled with the notice and ceased its operations by 9 p.m., but he said he supports ride-hailing. Quote, I was excited this morning, like a lot of people, finally it's coming here. But we're up against a mayor who supports his friends and really not what the people of Surrey are wanting. I just want to see the city of Surrey get the same benefits of rideshare that every other city in the region is benefiting from. Well, be careful what you wish for. You're also going to get the disadvantages that Uber has. You're going to have a bunch of people working, but they're going to be working for far less than what they should. And what's more, I don't know, this is one of those strange situations because in some cases, you actually spend more on rideshare than you get from it. It's not a long-term thing, but whatever. Anyway, let's see here. In a statement issued by Uber, the company wrote that Surrey has requested that Uber pause operations, but we respectfully decline. No other city is taking this approach. Really? I just mentioned the whole thing with London. And, yeah, I believe that there's some airport troubles that you're having right now in Arizona or something, where you're leaving an airport. I have not been reporting on that, but yeah, it seems like people have actually asked you to leave, and people have been asking you to leave for a long time. Other cities are taking this approach. They have asked you to leave, and every time they ask you to leave, you say no, so they have to sue you and get you out. No, that's because you don't do the right thing, Uber. Quote, the Passenger Transportation Board and the Provincial government have given Uber all necessary licenses, authorizing Uber to continue operating across Metro Vancouver and in the city of Surrey. We look forward to working with all councils on a path forward for the regional licensing of this new industry, Uber's head of Western Canada, Michael Van Hemmen, wrote in the statement. So apparently from Uber's perspective, they do have the licenses and they do have permission, but the mayor says no. So here's the thing. Let's see what the mayor's going on. So as ride-hailing operators Uber and Lyft began picking up passengers for the first time in the Lower Mainland on Friday morning, Surrey Mayor Doug McCallum reiterated his opposition to ride-hailing. Quote, what continues to be my chief concern is that the unfair advantage that has been created without any regard as to how it will impact those who are employed in the taxi industry. It is no secret that a large percentage of cab drivers live in Surrey. You know, in all fairness, this is a valid concern because here's the thing. Mayors, governors, presidents, they all have certain districts that they have to deal with. The mayors worry about their city. The governor worries about the state. And the president worries about the country. And then, by extension, the whole world, because considering whether or not the whole world is good or bad might affect his country. So, if the mayor lives in a city that is primarily resided by with taxi drivers, then yeah, that is the mayor's concern, and the mayor is going to back up the residents, the taxi drivers. Now, here's the thing. Again, we've got like a conflict right now because he says that Uber does not have an operating license. Uber says they do. So something tells me this one's going to wind up in court again because at that point you have to show the judge what you have or what you don't have. And if Uber doesn't have like a license and they were asked to leave, then yeah, I guess Uber has to cease operations. But maybe Uber does have the license and the mayor just is overreaching his bounds. I don't know. So Surrey business can be subject to a $500 fine if they do not have the operating license, Hundial said. That $500 is nothing to Uber. That's like them finding a nickel on the ground. They will easily pay it. Heck, if they have to pay a $500 fine every month, they'll probably do it because they don't care about that kind of money. They can expedite business license they choose, so it's really up to the city how to sort of decide what they're wanting to do with Uber operators. Well, and this is probably where the other conflict comes in, because I don't think this mayor wants Uber in there. So they would definitely not, in my opinion, expedite the licenses. In fact, they might even make it a lot harder for them to get it. The Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure said I'm stuttering on that one, so I'm going to skip that word. Can set requirements for business licenses for ride-hailing operators, but provincial laws prevent blocking ride-hailing altogether. In a statement Friday night, Rob Costanzo, General Manager of Corporate Services for the City of Surrey, said staff told Uber that council has not yet come to a decision on how it wants to deal with ride-hailing businesses' license. Quote, until a decision is made on this regard, ride-hailing companies are precluded from operating within Surrey's boundaries. So now we have like a third statement, because Rob says that they have not yet come to the decision on how to deal with ride-hailing business licenses, which means communication has been opened. It has been opened. So we have 3 stories now. 1, Uber says they have the license. 2, the mayor says they don't have the license and never even asked. And 3rd, the head of a transportation, what was that again? The general manager of corporate services. He is saying that, hey, we just haven't decided how the licenses are going to be dealt with, meaning more than likely communication started. And there might even be some miscommunication. Now, with that said, I wouldn't be surprised if it was intentional miscommunication on Uber's part, because this is what Uber does. They kind of say, oh, we have everything squared out, and oh, we don't. Oh, it was a misunderstanding, but hey, we're here, people like us, so why don't you work with us now? It's what they do. It's what they have always done. It's just what they've always done. And so I'm, of course, going to side with the city and the mayor, although I will say in this particular case, it does seem like people aren't talking to each other properly. It seems like things aren't being discussed the way they should. Things are being a little unorthodox in this particular situation. So who knows what's going to happen? Ultimately, Uber will be here, though. I mean, heck, they have just wound up in Vancouver. Vancouver was the last city in North America that didn't have Uber, and they now finally have it. I'm not doing like a separate story for that because I don't know. I don't know. That's not as interesting, and it almost feels like a big sign of defeat. Like they're everywhere now. You can't get rid of them really. But we'll have to see what happens here. I suspect Uber will eventually be allowed to operate, though, whether the mayor wants them to or not. But anyway, that's where we are going to leave this story. What says you? Do you agree? What do you think is going on here? I'd like to know your thoughts. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.